Washington, a federal judge on Thursday slammed the Justice Department's muddled approach to the January 6 prosecutions, rejecting a recommendation of prison time for one rioter because it conflicted with the government's position in other similar cases. U.S. District Chief Judge Beryl Howell has been one of the most outspoken members of the bench in denouncing the Capitol riots. She previously questioned whether the Justice Department was letting defendants off too lightly in plea deals. But in sentencing Jack Griffith of Tennessee to 3 years of probation instead of the 3 months behind bars that the government wanted, she explained that the court had an obligation to avoid unwarranted differences in sentencing, effectively finding that the government had undercut its own case. Howell repeatedly expressed puzzlement at how the Justice Department was managing the January 6 cases, especially for defendants charged solely with misdemeanor crimes. She questioned prosecutors using scorching rhetoric to describe the severity of the attack on the Capitol while also using words like trespass to describe what some defendants, including Griffith, did that day. She described the government's brief as almost schizophrenic.
She also pressed prosecutors to explain why the government was offering plea deals for low-level charges that limited judges' options at sentencing, especially when prosecutors had articulated that one goal of these cases was to prevent a similar post-election attack on the peaceful transfer of power in the future. "This is a muddled approach by the government," she said. "It is no wonder," she said, "that some people are confused about whether what happened on January 6 was a petty offense of trespassing or shocking criminal conduct that represented a grave threat to our democratic norms." Out of roughly 650 people charged with participating in the riots, 117 have pleaded guilty and 22 have been sentenced. Recent hearings have revealed a range of opinions among the judges presiding over these cases about what they believe an appropriate sentence should look like. A few judges have imposed sentences that were harsher than what the government asked for, including in cases where defendants pleaded guilty to the same crime as Griffith: parading, demonstrating, or picketing in the Capitol, a Class B misdemeanor with a maximum sentence of 6 months in prison. The government had asked for home confinement for Matthew Mazzocco of Texas, who pleaded guilty to the parading offense, but U.S. District Judge Tanya Chutkan sentenced him to 45 days behind bars. She explained at the time, "There have to be consequences for participating in an attempted violent overthrow of the government, beyond sitting at home." The parading charge is the most common count that Capitol rioters are pleading guilty to so far. Howell wasn't satisfied with the government's explanations for why its sentencing recommendations in these cases had ranged from probation to incarceration. Assistant U.S. Attorney Jamie Carter said that the government was analyzing a variety of factors in deciding what sentence to push for, including whether there was evidence that a defendant understood and supported the violence at the Capitol and how much remorse they expressed afterward. In Griffith's case, the government highlighted evidence that he was excited to participate in the riots, defended what happened, and expressed regret that the mob had failed to stop Congress from certifying the results of the election. Prosecutors also cited BuzzFeed News reporting on a video game that Griffith had continued to promote on Facebook and TikTok in the weeks leading up to his plea hearing in July that featured a Donald Trump character shooting and threatening monsters, members of Antifa, Dem zombies, and other assorted enemies. A period of incarceration would deter Griffith, and others, from engaging in similar criminal activity going forward, prosecutors argued. Howell pushed back, questioning whether the government's decision to offer people who joined the mob basically the most minimal of federal criminal charges would achieve that goal. The judge also probed the $500 in restitution that Griffith agreed to pay as part of his deal. Misdemeanor deals in January 6 cases have featured $500 in restitution, while most felony deals have required $2,000. Howell noted that the government's estimate of $1.5 million in damage to the Capitol was much less than the full cost of the January 6 attack to the U.S. government, the hundreds of millions of dollars that Congress approved for law enforcement protection around the Capitol complex, for instance. She called the government's analysis baffling. Assistant U.S. Attorney James Pierce said that the government continued to evaluate the cost question, but said that they didn't believe, for instance, that providing security at the Capitol after the riots was something that defendants should owe restitution for. He explained that prosecutors came up with the $500 and $2,000 restitution amounts based on an estimate that between 2,000 and 2,500 people illegally went into the Capitol and a calculation of what it would take for defendants collectively to pay enough to cover the damage estimate from the architect of the Capitol. Howell pointed out that Class B misdemeanor deals removed judges' authority to do their own calculations for how much restitution defendants should owe. Federal law gives judges more leeway on restitution for higher-level crimes. Nearly everyone charged in connection with January 6 faces a baseline set of 4 misdemeanors, including 2 Class B crimes and 2 Class A crimes. U.S. District Judge Amy Berman Jackson previously questioned the decision to let rioters plead to a Class B offense because it also removed judges' flexibility to impose a period of court supervision. A few judges have ordered defendants who pleaded guilty to pay fines as a separate form of punishment, but Howell determined that Griffith didn't have the means to do that. Griffith was arrested on January 16. An unnamed informant alerted the FBI that Griffith documented his participation in the riots on Facebook, including a post featuring a photo of himself with his fist raised inside the Capitol. The caption for that photo included the line, "I even helped storm the Capitol today, but it only made things worse," followed by a sad face emoji. Investigators identified Griffith in a video that one of his co-defendants, Matthew Bledsoe, allegedly posted on Instagram that showed the 2 men just outside a door to the Capitol. In that video, Griffith, wearing glasses and a red "Make America Great Again" hat, screams in excitement, as the FBI described it in charging papers. The government later released the video in connection with a guilty plea entered by the third co-defendant in the case, Eric Torrens, who is scheduled to be sentenced by Howell on Friday.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.